Okay, our first guest is Veronica. She's a mother of three. She thinks that vaccines promote promiscuity, cause autism, and they're they're very high in cost. And our second guest is Dr. Kowalski, who is a vaccine specialist. So she's going to be educating Veronica about those today. Okay, Veronica, can you first tell us why you feel this way about vaccinations?
Well, I do have three children, and I've heard so many different stories on how vaccines can cause autism and like they have crazy side effects. And I just don't want for my children at that health, like have them like risk their health and like possibly develop autism after getting a vaccine. So I just stay away from that. And like I've never had them vaccinated; they're still very healthy today. So I'm happy for that.
Okay. So regarding autism and vaccinations, there have been several studies done, and none seem to show any correlation between the two because there's such a large amount of vaccinations and such a small amount of instances in where someone who's been vaccinated has autism. You really can't correlate the two. One isn't proven to cause the other, and the risks of not vaccinating are actually much greater, such as like resurgence of illnesses that you're trying to vaccinate against. So those are the risks that we should really be focused on.
Well, I've also heard like I know recently there's been this new vaccine within the past 10 years, and it's for girls, and it's for if they are like sexually active that they have to get this shot to prevent certain things, and I don't know exactly what, but I don't want I do have two girls as well, and I don't want to like say it's okay to have sex and then be a whore, and
Oh, okay.
so I don't believe that's okay, and I don't want to.
So you're worried about promoting promiscuity?
Yeah.
Okay. So I believe the vaccination you're talking about is Gardasil. That vaccination helps prevent HPV, which can be sexually transmitted, but it also prevents against cervical cancer and other reproductive issues.
Well, then why don't men get it? I mean, they say it's just for women, so.
Men oftentimes will get the Gardasil shot or not the Gardasil shot, they'll get a shot to prevent against HPV because HPV can develop into cancer. And so we just want to use as much preventive measures as we can. It's not necessarily encouraging any type of behavior.
Well, also, I mean, I've never heard of people even getting polio or measles anymore. So if these diseases aren't even present today, why should my children even get vaccines? There's no point.
You're saying you don't want to put them through that for something that's not needed?
Well, yeah, it's pointless.
Okay. Well, the reason that so many of these diseases have been eradicated lately is because of the persistence with getting vaccines and keeping these diseases out. So, for example, in the United States, measles have been eradicated. But there are people that will stop doing the vaccinations and then they'll travel abroad and come back, or people will come from other countries where they don't have the vaccinations.
But these people that come from other countries, are they coming from like third world countries where they don't have the right resources? Because I mean, like, if that's an issue, then maybe they should get vaccinated before they come here.
Some of them are. Some do require shots. Some people travel from our own country to other places where they pick up the illness there and then come bring it back. But either way, in 2014 and 15, there was a resurgence of measles. It caused an outbreak starting with 15 unvaccinated children at Disneyland. And so because those children weren't vaccinated, they went back into their communities and started spreading this disease again. And so if we stop vaccinating within our communities because we think a disease is gone, then that can allow it to come back. We have to continuously fight the diseases off.
Well, if vaccines are so important and there's so much pressure on me getting my children vaccinations, then why is it so expensive? Like, why do they make the cost of vaccines so expensive for people like me?
So to start with, getting vaccinations available at different doctor's offices and hospitals can have costs associated with them. But for the most part, if you go into your doctor's office and you talk to your healthcare provider, they can help set you up with different ways to get your vaccinations covered and figure out what your insurance will cover. Or even if you go to like your local pharmacy, sometimes they'll have free flu shots. And so it just depends on where you go, just to like get yourself information and see like how they can help you. Because most healthcare providers will want to help you do that to keep the community safe, as well as your own children.